Hi, Matt here from Matt Holman Golf. Just want to talk about the standard pitch shot. You know, part swing, when we're not hitting a full shot, often it's called the finesse swing. And really for me, most important is that we control distance by the length of our swing. So I like to see a relatively constant tempo back and through. And there's going to be less sort of dynamics, less pushing off the front side, less bump and turn of the lower body. The chest and the lower body will work together a little bit more. It's a slightly smoother action. So I'm going to have this constant tempo, but we're controlling distance by the swing length. So I really like sort of the Pete Cowan method when I work with Michael Walker, and we sort of swing to body parts. So we can say sort of hip length back through. Then from there he would go to the chest back and through, and then the shoulder back and through. Those guys would also have a stomach, so they're going 4 swing lengths. I like 3, keep it simple. And for me, with my 58 degree, my hip to hip travels around 40 yards, my chest to chest around 60, and then my shoulder to shoulder around 80. Someone like a Dave Peltz, you know, made really popular the clock face system. So there's different ways to do it. Some guys use no system at all. I like to have, you know, maybe a foundation to work to, so I like that sort of swing length method. And then really setup wise, critical, I see a lot of amateur players sort of trying to use their normal 7-iron setup to pitch with. It's just not really going to work. Our centre line, our sternum gets too far behind the golf ball. Very easy to sort of scoop, hit the ground before the ball. We've sort of created too much power in the lower body, so we end up slowing down through the hit. So let's get sort of hip width, ball in the middle of our hip width, ball in the middle of our ankles there. I like just slightly more weight on my left side. Grip wise, you use your standard grip, sort of 2.5 knuckle grip. Depending on the player, we can go a little weaker, sometimes a little stronger. That's maybe for a future session. But sort of middle-list ball position, maybe this left hip can just be slightly more forward than normal. Stops us shifting off too much, allows us to hit the ground after the ball, and then just really controlling that swing radius. I really like the sort of Steve Bann. I worked for a great coach in Australia, Dennis McDade, and we work lots on what he talks about swing radius. So the distance from our hands to the chest, and he wanted that to stay constant the whole time. It's problems if we get very narrow. There's problems if we get very, very wide, because now the swing radius is too wide, we hit the ground early. If the swing radius is too narrow, we never make it back to the ball. So just a constant length or swing radius back, through, so the left arm straight, but not sort of tight there. And again, I talked a little bit about takeaway in one of the previous videos. The hands can stay a little in, the club's a little out. As we get to halfway, we talk about the sort of chest to chest pitch there. I like to see the arms right in the middle of our body. That classic sort of Butch Harmon with the ball there. Chest stays in the middle of the body. Shaft points just inside the golf ball. For me, it's we start to get the shaft too steep. There's too much to do in a short pitch. So for me in pitching where it's a little different, slightly more weight in the front foot, arms in the middle of the body, we just leave the shaft at the golf ball, and just simple, smooth, up, down, through. Really making sure you rotate through. We don't need any of this sort of rolling over there. It's a very passive club face. The right hand can stay a little under the left. Hopefully if I hit one more for you, and we can look in the camera here, so a little half swing back, through. Hopefully you can sort of up there see the club face looking back at the target. We'll have that constant loft, constant bounce, and it will reduce the chance of hitting these shots over the left.